We will now be taking a look at the sewer. The sewer is only seen in one chapter, and that is the sewer chapter in Outlast. And so, unlike other areas we've explored so far, the sewer isn't necessarily located in any one location. It's basically located below and runs below the entire complex. But some of the areas that you do end up exploring in Outlast are underneath the administration block, the two wards, the courtyard, the prison block, and also a little bit of the recreation area as well. And so yeah, I don't think I really need to explain what the purpose of a sewer is. It's basically just dedicated to just carrying off drainage water and waste matter away from the asylum. And so yeah, I figured I would do the sewer first, since I did mention in the previous video in the courtyard that I would do either the recreation area or the hospital, but I figured we might as well get all of the Outlast-oriented places out of the way, since this was actually the only location we had left to do, with the exception of the underground lab, but that's kind of a mix, so you see that in both Outlast and Whistleblower, but whereas you only see the sewer in Outlast. Kind of figured I would get these out of the way first. And also kind of another disclaimer, there's a glitch, or for some reason there's this weird bug or whatever that's associated with this mod, where there's an area that's glitched out. It's like every time I go there, it crashes the game. Like, no matter what I do, whether I'm recording or not, it just crashes every time I approach it. And so that's kind of the reason why I figured I would start right over here. As you can see, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of going from the starting point of the sewer, which is the prison block, and then going to the mail ward, which you see right now, I'm going to do it backwards. So we're actually going to be starting from the end of the sewer chapter, and then going to the starting point, which is the prison block. And so that's kind of the reason why I'm doing this. I have already attempted this a few times, going from the prison to the mail ward, and this was before I found out that that area had been bugged out, so I did that like 2 or 3 times, and every time I approached that area, it just crashed. So, and it's really weird too, because every time I approach it, not only does the game crash, but all of the footage I had that I was recording, it just vanishes for some reason. I don't know, it's like I wasn't even recording in the first place. The footage just disappears, except for one time, it actually was still recording. So I might include that as like a blooper or something, because it's kind of funny watching my reactions to that. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of why I'm kind of doing this backwards. And also, I guess it would be interesting to see how this would look if you were to go through the sewer from a different direction. And so, anyways, yeah, kind of enough rambling about that. Let's actually get on with the review / tour. And so, yeah, we are in the basement of the mail ward. This is the only area of the sewer I know that it has a direct access to it. So the mail ward has a direct access to the sewer. There's no other areas that I'm aware that really have this. You don't see it in like the female ward or the administration block. You just see this with the male ward. But yeah, there you go. And so yeah, we kind of saw this in the male ward chapter. So you're in the basement and you have these staircases, these very interesting curved staircases, as you can see it. They kind of remind me of something you would see in like a castle or something. So kind of like a dungeon or something. Looks pretty interesting. So it's pretty unusual. Just something I would never really expect to find in a building like this. But so yeah, the sewer is in the sub-basement, as you can see. So you have the basement, and then the ground or main level. And so you can see that we are in the kind of the sub-basement. But the sewer actually does span at least 4 floors that I know of. And so this is just one of them. And so yeah, this is basically it. You're going to be seeing this a lot throughout So just these very large tunnels, kind of a nearly perfect circle, all brick. And, yeah, very very large tunnels, as you can see. They span an entire floor here, and it's also not just tunnels that are down here. There are some like actual rooms here, most of which are just like storage rooms, and which in some cases also contain like mechanical devices. Like a couple of them, as you'll see later on, have drain valves. And so, but most of them are just like storage rooms. It's very simple, just brick on the walls and then concrete on the floor, and also in some cases the ceiling. So it's similar to what we see in the basement, because we are in kind of a basement level here. And so yeah, pipes here and handrails. So yeah, again, just basically more evidence that this would be used. People can actually come down here, since again you have staircases, you have doors, handrails. So yeah, people can definitely come down here. I'm guessing they would just kind of walk along here, because you really don't want to be stepping in all this nasty stuff here. So yeah, we have that storage room. That's where all the corpses are. So again, this is all kind of at the end of the sewer chapter, kind of the last stretch here. And then past this point, this is just closed off. This is behind a metal grate, and so you kind of have a T-shaped intersection here. And this is all behind the mail ward, so kind of the back as well. And that's kind of where this area is, kind of the final stretch of the sewer chapter. It's underneath the mail ward, and so you can kind of see the beginning of the mail ward basement as well. So that's kind of the start. So you come up from like this like cistern area, you climb up a staircase and a ladder, and you're in the basement of the mail ward. But then you're only there for like a little bit before you end up going down a staircase into this area, and then from there you go up another staircase to the basement once again, and you're gonna be there until you end up getting captured by Traeger, and you go up to the ground floor, and then kind of the upper floors as well. So that's kind of how that all works. So that's all underneath the mail ward, and then you can kind of see, yeah. So I'm gonna try to stay away from there, because that's actually the area that's bugged out that I was talking about. So like specifically that area right there where you have the staircase, that goes up to the basement of the mail ward. That's actually the area that's bugged out. So every time I've gone there, without fail, the game always crashes. And so I just kind of want to avoid that altogether. So I tested it out once, and I ended up crashing also if I came from the other direction in that area. So I can't go past this curve, because then it'll just crash. And so yeah, and you also have like these smaller tunnels too. So these very small tunnels here. Most of them are closed off. They have metal grates, but most of the larger tunnels do kind of terminate and then have these smaller tunnels instead. Okay, so yeah, this is all below the basement, and then that's basically just very similar to the other side. It's just like this, except it goes up to another portion of the basement. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really interesting there anyway, so I'm just gonna try to avoid that. The only other area that's really worth noting here is that there's kind of this smaller cistern area. So I mentioned a larger one. You can kind of see it there. But there's also this smaller one too, and this one you can't really access. The only way you can really access it is if you die. If you miss that jump in the mail ward chase sequence, you'll end up falling to your death in here. And so there's nothing really interesting going on here. It's just completely closed off. And I mean, it really does remind me of a cistern. Like, go on Google and type in like cistern, and this is like, this is what it looks like. It's got like these columns, really, because they're very interesting. They're like these square-shaped columns, but at the top here you can see it curves outwards, and it forms this very interesting shape. So I kind of like the look at that. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it's just filled with water, and so yeah, nothing too interesting. It's very dark to see. It's very dark because there's no lighting or anything, and you're gonna see that in the sorry about that. You're gonna see that a lot throughout. It's gonna be very dark in the sewer because there's hardly any lights down here. There are some, but not everywhere. So yeah, but in close proximity to this other cistern and kind of the sewer of the mail ward, there is this much larger cistern. So as you can see, it looks a lot like the other one, except it's just a lot bigger. And so yeah, the only way of actually, unlike the other one, this actually does have an actual like formal access point, and it's through the basement of the mail ward. So you have this ladder and a staircase that are connected by a catwalk, and this whole area can be accessed from the mail ward basement. And so yeah, this we've seen before. And so you're in the basement, you climb down the ladder, and this is how you actually access this. The only way you manage to access this area in the main game is because one of these metal grates has been torn away. But normally it would not be like that, so the only way really that I see of accessing this is through here. And there are some tunnels here, but again, they have the metal grates here. And so yeah, there's 4 on this side. And then there's also 2 on the other side, one of which is very, very short. And again, you have these smaller tunnels here. And so, yeah, this is all underneath the courtyard. So we've kind of moved away from the mail ward. We're now heading to the courtyard, and you can see just how big the basement of the mail ward is, because it even extends below the courtyard, just in front of the mail ward. And so, yeah. And then also there's these 2 tunnels on the other side here. And this actually ends up connecting to another kind of larger space. So this looks less kind of like a cistern. It doesn't have like the columns. It's just one big space that's kind of split off into different areas. It's got like just these metal grates, and then the catwalk actually ends up running uninterrupted through them, so it forms like a hole in the metal grates, so you can pass through them. But if you're on the actual floor here, yeah, you can't get past this normally. And so just a lot of pipes here, so I don't know if this is some kind of like cesspool area, I'm not really sure. So your guess is as good as mine, but it is like flooded like the other areas. And so just more water, yep. And so yeah, there's staircases, yep, so there's one on this side, there's also one on the other side. And also on this side is another storage room. It's a little bit smaller than the other one we saw, but it does look a lot like the other one, so just more brick and then just concrete. So yeah, some shelves here, just a single radiator, single simple light bulb here, and even an air duct. And so that's pretty much it, nothing really too interesting here. And then right over here is kind of a, I almost kind of consider this like a secret area. It's not really closed off. You can normally access this. It's just that I rarely see people actually stumble across this because it's kind of out of the way. And so you can normally find a battery here. In fact, yeah, there's one right there. And so it's just a single tunnel here. There is this curve that splits off from it, but I don't think you can access the curve because, yeah, there's a metal grate there. And then, yeah, just more of the smaller tunnels. And this is now actually underneath the prison block. But also kind of this, also kind of underneath the courtyard. So just to give you an idea of where we are. And so yeah, And so yeah, here's that other staircase I was talking about. Again, it's difficult to see because of how dark it is, but it's basically just these areas. So just multiple rooms here that are split off with these metal grates, with the exception of the catwalks. And yeah, I can see that this is also below the administration block, specifically the recreation hall and chapel. And just like this area, it also has two openings on the other. It has two openings with the metal grates. And so one of them overlooks into another portion of the sewer. So that's going to take us to the female ward and prison block. And then the other one is, yeah, the one I was talking about here. And in the center is another storage room. This one is a little bit different though because it's bigger. And it also has catwalks, so it's kind of got this one here. So you can see that this area is kind of raised up. And it's got a catwalk leading to this other area, which is just a closet. So that's where you get jump scared by the variant if you choose to open that door. And so yeah, electrical panels here and then some shelves. A lot of piping here, a lot of pipes, and then just wiring. Well, just exposed wiring. So yeah, nothing too much that's going on here. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this area is supposed to be accessed because, again, this cistern can be accessed, but then like over here, there's really no way of accessing this because this is all closed off. And even the storage room doesn't have anything. This closet is a dead end. So I'm not sure how you're normally supposed to access this. The way Miles accesses this area is through these tunnels here, these smaller tunnels, but this isn't really meant for people. I don't think normally people would be crawling through these. So it just seems a bit odd. But I mean, it kind of splits off here and just leads into a single tunnel. Has a few curves. And this leads into this area that we saw. So back to that, the main area. And so we have a door here. I'm assuming that this would be another storage room, but there's nothing here. And so, yeah, because you aren't meant to access that door. I think, yeah, it's just more of these larger tunnels. Again, they look very similar to what we've seen before. Although this has these vertical tunnels. And so, yeah, not really sure what the point of these are. All of them don't really go anywhere. As you can see, this goes up to the courtyard, but you don't see this in the courtyard area. And so it's unknown as to how that is meant to work. But yeah, so you have mail ward. Okay, so yeah, if you keep going this way, you will reach the mail ward. One way or the other. And so very long tunnel here, so you have more handrails, more pipes. And so this is kind of underneath the hallway that connects the administration block to the prison block. And so yeah, a lot of tunnels here. And more, yeah, just larger tunnels and smaller tunnels. And these vertical tunnels, a variant ends up falling through one of them and ends up knocking out that metal grate there. That's located there. And so again, you can see how this all kind of looks. So a lot of intersecting parts here. And so from this point here, we have a ladder. This goes up to an upper portion of the sewer. So again, I did mention that the sewer does span a few levels. And so you also have signs here. So yeah, this directs you towards the male ward. That's where we came from. But you also have a sign that says female ward here. And so this actually does lead you towards the female ward. The only issue is there's no actual connection that I know of, because this is technically a dead end because it's just this smaller tunnel at the very end. And so it's just locked behind this door here with that metal grate surrounding it. And so I can see this is now kind of towards the front of the complex here. I think that's pretty much it for that. But anyways, yeah, so this leads you, so this ladder is part of another storage room. And so, yeah, just another kind of a larger storage room here. Nothing really too interesting. It's just a lot like the other storage rooms we've seen. So just shelves, and then brick walls, and concrete for the floor and ceiling. And that's where the one variant is, except it looks like he's not here. Yeah, he despawned. But this level here is now technically the basement, since we went up a floor. So this is now on the same level as like all of the basements, so like the administration block and the wards. Which, as we will see later on, does cause a few problems. In fact, we're going to go to that area right now. So at the very end here of this very long tunnel, it does kind of split off into two areas. So it still kind of runs parallel, but it just splits off into two tunnels, which at the very end up connecting with another tunnel that runs perpendicular to them. And so you can see that this tunnel is now right below the administration block here. And in fact, you do have signs here directing you towards the administration block. So you also have one on all the way over here. And so yeah, you aren't really meant to access this. This is all closed off by either metal grates or these boulders here, which I really have no idea how this ended up happening. But anyway, yeah, more tunnels, and yeah, smaller tunnels here, and then the vertical ones, which again, a lot of issues this causes. So yeah, this actually intersects with one of the fireplaces in the admin block here. And yeah, so here's where I was talking about how this causes issues, because you can see that this section of sewer just completely intersects with the basement of the admin block. And so, yeah, it's unknown if there's a connection, and if there is a connection, how would the sewer connect to the administration block, because there's no type of any like doors, like closed off doors that would indicate that's supposed to connect to the sewer. There's nothing like that. And so yeah, there's the electric room. So yeah, this whole area just completely intersects with the basement. And yeah, so more tunnels. You can see that this kind of splits off into two tunnels, and they both terminate after a while, because again, you're not supposed to see that. And so you can see just how this leads all the way to the front of the administration block. So we're at the very front now of that. And so, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for that. Nothing too noteworthy. It's just more tunnels. You also have more of these vertical tunnels here, except they're located below you instead of above you like the other ones. And again, just like those ones, they don't go anywhere. And so from here, you can kind of see how this is all arranged. So just to give you an idea of how the sewer actually comes together. This is what it looks like if you were to step outside of the level and actually look at it. So it does look kind of interesting with all the different tunnels, the horizontal tunnels and the vertical ones. Let's see, I'm making our way, actually now we're heading towards the prison block. And from here, yeah, we kind of come across another intersection. They're both closed off by metal grates. This one has a door, but again, this doesn't really go anywhere. So this is now located in front of, right in front of the female ward. And so there's that sign again, so that leads towards the admin block. And so this area is closed off by a metal grate. And really from here, the only way that that can be accessed is through the lower junction. And so just a quick look at the lower junction. Yeah, this is the deepest known portion of the sewer. And so you can see it's located even deeper than the other area that we were in. So, so this would be a floor, and then there would be a floor here, right below that, and then even below that would be the lower junction. So it's 3 floors, and I did mention that there was a 4th floor, which is this area located right here. So if you add all of those up, you get 4 floors. And so which just shows you how vast the sewers actually are. And you only end up really exploring a small portion of them because, again, it would be assumed that there would be more to this, to some of the dead ends we've seen, but they just, it was just not modeled because, again, there's really no point in creating an entire sewer system if you're only going to explore a small fraction of it. And so yeah, now we're kind of in this main area. So this you might recognize, this is one of the, I guess, kind of challenges. So you have to drain these 2, I guess, drains really here. So you have the female drain, which is the female ward drain, and you also have the prison drain, which is for the prison block drain. And so Miles has to drain these so he can flush out the lower junction. And so what's also really cool is that you also do get an in-game map. So one of the rare instances of there being an in-game map, which is also pretty accurate as well, just like the one in the basement of the administration block. The only issue is that it shows this tunnel here that does not actually exist. So it shows 3 tunnels altogether, but there's only 2. And so I'm unsure if that was just an area that was meant to be included but wasn't, or if it's just basically just something that was planned and just never got into the game for some reason. So it's unknown. But anyway, you do have the 2 drains here, and if you follow them, they do lead to a storage room. And yeah, so yeah, drain valve. So yeah, the drain valve is located inside of a storage room. And so yeah, this is actually located underneath the prison block. So the prison drain is actually located below the prison block, and the female drain is actually also located below the female ward, which is kind of a cool touch. And so yeah, just again, standard storage room. And for some reason, okay, yeah, so yeah, this one has brick on the ceiling instead of concrete. But you can also see there's, for some reason, an older model of Miles Upshur here that's on top of this room. So I'm not sure what this is doing here. And so, yeah, more tunnels here. And yeah, so you can see that drain, so it's very visible. It's in orange. And some other pipes here. There's also a door here. It's unknown what's behind this, but probably another storage room. Although there's kind of an issue with this because you can see that one of those smaller tunnels is located right behind the door. And so that's a little bit weird. So I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. And so yeah, you can see that this area is also in pretty close proximity to the area that we were in before, a little bit earlier. So I know that some people actually use this as like for speed runs to get from this area to this much quicker. And so you can kind of bypass this whole area where you have to switch the two valves. And so yeah, but with the female drain, speaking of which, this is located on the other side, so this whole area kind of wraps around. And it leads to another storage room with a drain valve. And so again, this room is smaller than the other one, but it does basically look a lot like the other one in terms of decor, or lack thereof. It's pretty basic, again. Just the radiator, some shelves, an air duct, and that's pretty much it. And so yeah, this room, like I said, is actually located below the female ward. And it's in pretty close proximity to this area we talked about while we're reviewing the female ward. I did bring this up, this hallway here, which again could just be a coincidence, or this actually could be a connection for the female ward to the sewer. But again, it's kind of unknown. And so yeah, this whole area is closed off by boulders. And so yeah, just more of these tunnels here. Also got this one, that's just one single tunnel that splits off at each end here. More vertical tunnels. And there's also this area that's closed off. So this isn't meant to be accessed. It's got the two metal grates on each side. And then you have kind of an L-shaped smaller tunnel here. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. That about basically wraps it up for this main area. And so yeah, this is just the other ladder that leads to the lower junction, so there are two ways of accessing it. But I think we're going to take a look at the lower junction at the very end. Right now, I just kind of want to wrap up this floor of the sewer. And so you also got like these metal grates that are on the floor here, so you can kind of walk above where the water is draining. And in fact, I'm not sure why they just didn't put that for the entire sewer. But okay, so yeah, this area, as you can see, is located below the recreation area. So of course, in the main game, you never do go into the recreation area, but the closest you get is actually being right underneath it. And so past this point, actually, yeah, speaking of the recreation area, you kind of have this whole thing going on here. So, we're going to take a closer look at this in the recreation area of the game, but you have this area. This is part of the recreation area, and it ends up intersecting with this tunnel in the sewer. Now, again, this could just be a coincidence, or there actually is meant to be a connection here. It's a little bit unknown, because this area kind of looks like it could be part of like a sewer thing, because it's got like this water here. And so just to give you an idea of where this is, so this is when Waylon climbs the ladder to the prison yard. This is right on the other side here. So of course this area is closed off. But this leads to the sewer. Although I think it would make a lot more sense if this were to connect with that upper portion I was talking about, if I can find it. Yeah, this right here. But yeah, there really isn't a connection here. It just kind of intersects a bit. And so yeah, because of this whole like intersecting thing, it's a little bit difficult to see this area, this section of the sewer. But it's just more tunnels. Just kind of wraps around this kind of central area that contains a ladder that again goes up to this. I'm guessing this is the uppermost floor of the sewer, because as you can see, this is intersecting a lot with the recreation area. And this is actually all that's here for this upper floor. It's literally just this section right here. There's no other areas that are on the same level as this one in terms of the sewer. Because again, you aren't really meant to access that. As you can see, this ladder has been torn away. And so yeah, more tunnels. Yep, and you can see that we're now behind the recreation area, kind of that whole prison yard. So again, more on that once we actually get to it, probably in the next video. And so yeah, more tunnels here, and kind of have a larger unit here. And so yeah, we're kind of now in the kind of final stretch here of the sewer. We're now getting towards the starting point. And so this is where Miles ends up first. Now the way Miles accesses the sewer is through his dugout hole, which is located in the showers of the prison block. And so yeah, this we've seen before. And of course, this normally wouldn't be here, just this dugout hole. Of course, so this isn't an official way of accessing the sewer. So again, it's kind of unknown if there is an actual access from the prison block to the sewer, but it doesn't seem like there is, just because again, there's no closed off like doors or anything like that, and there's also no signs that like kind of direct you. So there's no signs that say prison block down here. So. But anyways, yeah, so this whole area is located underneath the prison block, and you can see it goes as far as actually going behind the prison block as well. And so yeah, just more tunnels. Yep, so these larger tunnels that are either capped off by smaller tunnels, or just blocked off by boulders. And so more of these vertical tunnels here, in pretty close proximity to the actual interior of the prison block. And so yeah, I'm assuming there would also be more sewer tunnels basically going over here as well, below like the vocational blocks and drawing grounds. But there's nothing. But it can be assumed that the sewer would keep going here. So you would just have like this very large system of tunnels basically that span a few floors. And so, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for that. And so that just leaves us with the lower junction. And like I said, this is the deepest portion of the sewer. And it's very small, as you can see, so you don't spend too much time down here. You just have these two tunnels that are different lengths. So this one right here is like, I would say about less than half the length of that one. And they run parallel to each other, and they're connected by a very short tunnel that runs perpendicular to them. And so they're just capped off by these smaller tunnels. You also got like kind of these vertical tunnels that contain these staircases. And so yeah, these extra tall ladders, because you are climbing down 2 floors when you access the lower junction. Kind of try to show you the inside. It's hard to see because it's so dark, but it's just a lot like the tunnels we've seen before. So just probably would have like handrails. There's also some pipes down here. There's like a steam pipe, which Miles ends up getting blasted by right before he goes up here. And so, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for the sewer. And so I think next we're going to take a look at the start with the whistleblower sections. So I think I'm going to do the recreation area first, and then kind of the hospital, and go to vocational blocks, drawing grounds. And so I hope to see you there.